Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Jonathan Lindsey. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, whether it be a commentary, a review, a reaction, a re-review, randomness, out of blueness, topic, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Jonathan Lindsey wanted me to do a commentary on the 1986 film Critters. So I have a pause at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And then we have the old school New Line Cinema logo. Granted, a little bit epilepsy, but I always thought that was kind of an interesting look for it. Of course, years later, you get the actual New Line with that musical motif that was in front of films like Mortal Kombat and Friday and the original Ninja Turtle films. But New Line Cinema at this time was just a very small production company who was really known for the Nightmare on Elm Street films. By the way, I just want to say this. With the Critters films, I always found it funny when people go, in that fourth film, the Critters in space, as if that's so stupid. We're on Prison Asteroid in the first 10 seconds of this movie. So all the people's like, they even put the Critters in space. I'm sitting there going, you do know they're aliens, right? You do know the first film starts off with them on a fucking prison asteroid. I think people forget that. Yeah, I get it. Hellraiser in space, weird. Jason in space, okay. They even did Critters in space. I'm like, yeah, they did Critters in space right here in the first movie. Because they were prisoners on a fucking asteroid, and they're aliens, and they escape. I did. I can't help it. I just remember so many people complaining. Like, if you have other complaints about Critters 4, I understand. But to complain that it's in space, I'm like, you guys didn't watch the first movie, did you? Oh my... You have a fucking alien that looks like from Star Trek right here, who's a warden. And they're... It's interesting that the Critters are, convicts. If you think about it, they're fucking convicts. And, like, they could actually steal and fly a spaceship. I mean, you see them flying a fucking spaceship. So, again, this whole... that was always such a weird complaint about Critters 4. Again, if you want to complain, there are legitimate complaints to have about it, believe me. But that was always one of them. But anyway, I grew up with the Critters films. I grew up with them on VHS. All 4 of them I saw on VHS. All 4 of them I like, to different degrees. I'd probably say my favorite is the second one, actually, because the whole Easter motif is interesting, and I do like this one, but Critters 2, it felt like because there was a bigger scope of the whole town. And I love the Critter Ball. There's like other details. Scott Grimes had a bit more to do now. He was more of a teen, adult type of age. But I do like this one quite a bit. There's a lot of interesting ideas. And I know this is labeled a Gremlins ripoff, but from what I understand, the script was written before Gremlins. It just got made because of the success of Gremlins. But, yeah, this is not a Gremlins ripoff. Again, the script was written before Gremlins. And then Gremlins came out in '84. It was a huge hit. And then that's where you got Ghoulies and Munchies and... Okay, this script has little creatures. Make it. I always liked the music in this. I always thought the music was fairly well done. The composer did a nice job with it. I always like the look of these titles coming up. Yeah, Billy Zane. Yeah, Billy Zane is in this. I always forget. Terrence Mann, who's our bounty hunter. There you go, Critters. I always thought that looked cool for a title. And then we get our establishing shots of this small time farm. Little quaint family. Mom, dad, son, daughter. Meanwhile, not a unlikable family. Nowadays, it'd be a family that's either depressed or beating the shit out of each other or a deep, dark past. Like maybe a newborn baby died or something. I mean, it did be something. It can't just be a normal family just relaxing. And this is the era where the PG-13 was a fairly new thing. It was films, I believe, like Red Dawn, the hell, because there were films PG like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where people were mad that it was only PG. You got a heart ripped out. But it's Steven Spielberg. That guy has that much power. They're not going to give him an R-rated Indiana Jones rating. But people complained, and so it's like, okay, well, there's got to be a rating between this and R, PG-13. I think Red Dawn was one of the first to get PG-13. I don't know what's the exact first one. Before I understand, that was one of the other motifs in making this film, is to do like a PG-13 type of horror but comedy mix between the two. Steve. Billy Greenbush there as the dad, who I would see again in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. I remember when I saw that, I went, oh shit, it's the guy from Critters. Because Billy Greenbush, I mean, I'm sure he's been in other films, but I can't remember, and right off the top of my head, tell you the amount of films he's been in. I can only remember him in this movie and Jason Goes to Hell. And of course, the woman he's hugging is Dee Wallace. Dee Wallace Stone at this time, who is the mom in E.T., the extraterrestrial. And of course, she was in Cujo and many other films. This little boy here is Scott Grimes, who... Scott Grimes worked with Seth MacFarlane quite a bit. I believe he's a voice on American Dad, I want to say. And I think he's on that TV show, The Orville. What happened to that show? Was that show supposed to have another season? Did that just never happen, or something else? But Scott Grimes, he would later be in Critters 2. And then he was in this film that I think is a bit underrated called Nightlife, also known as Grave Misdemeanors, which sadly has never gotten a DVD, let alone a Blu-ray release. And it's too bad. Nightlife is a pretty decent film. It stars Scott Grimes as a guy. He's a teenager who he's forced to work with, like, his uncle or something. Was actually the guy who played Gomez on the Addams Family TV show. At this like mortuary, and he doesn't like his job, and he wants to leave the town, and he's kind of stuck there, and he's going to school, and these bullies keep picking on him, and one day the bullies have gone to this car crash. And then there's this weird mist, like waste accident that brings the bullies back to life. So it's like zombie bullies versus this kid who they picked on when they were alive. And it's a pretty decent film, Nightlife. It was 1989 or so. Now this woman talking here with the pearls is Lynn Shea, who is related to Bob Shea, the big guy at New Line Cinema. And because Bob Shea's the producer, and he's the bid top guy, he got his sister Lynn Shea in a lot of projects. She was in some of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. She wasn't in Ninja Turtles, because of the New Line Cinema, or Friday, but she would get in some of these projects, like in this one, and of course she'd be in the Insidious movies. Now, Emmet Walsh on the left here is the sheriff. which they did not bring him back for Critters 2. They had another actor. But Emmet Walsh here on the left, he was in, I want to say Blood Simple. I remember him more for the action films he was in. He was in Missing in Action with Chuck Norris. He was Chuck Norris' buddy. He was driving the boat near the third act of the film. Red Scorpion, he was the American who was snarky and sarcastic, who would talk crap to Dolph Lundgren in Red Scorpion. Good character actor. And then on the right here, our drunk is Don Opper, who in a way would become the star of these films because he's the only one to be in all 4 of those Critters films as Charlie. And I believe his brother Barry Opper was the producer, so I'm sure that was one of the conditions of, hey, can you put my brother Don in the movie? But Don Opper, does a good job, and it's weird when you look at all 4 films. Like, you have a franchise where this drunk then becomes a guy that's thrust into the future and ride around in spaceships and I know Joe Dante has said that of the films that were quote Gremlins ripoffs, this is like the only one he liked. Like, he liked the Critters movies. Which is understandable because, number one, it's not a ripoff. It was written before. It just got financed after the success of Gremlins because, hey, if that's a hit, maybe this would be a hit. And there's other things going on. There's the whole bounty hunter aspect. This idea of these bounty hunters that could, based on where they need to go, where they need to be, they could mimic a certain individual or creature or whatever it may be. That was interesting in Critters 2, is that they made himself look like to be a Krite. So here's like getting all the info on Earth and finding. You have the one bounty hunter that decides to be Terrence Mann here, or Johnny Steele. The power of the night, streets are calling. Power of the night. And then the other bounty hunter, again, interesting idea that he can never pick a body. He can never pick it. Even Critters 2, it was the same bit. Which I think Jonathan Lindsey told me there was something about the sequel, something that was cut out, that the other bounty hunter felt more comfortable as a woman. This was always a neat effect where I think they made this is, I think, done backwards, where they have the face looks like Terrence Mann and then they melt it, and so the skin melts and you have the red underneath. Then it's a very cool effect. And when you see like the blood and the muscle tissue, it's because I think that like they take that, then they melt it, and then they do it in reverse. Like they film it melting, then take that film and now put it in reverse. And when this film came out, it did pretty decent at the box office. I remember the trailer. I guess from what I understand, when Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge was in theaters, the trailer for this was in front of it, because it would be New Line Cinema's next big project. And this made a decent amount at the box office, but a lot more on home video. That's how you got Critters 2 in 1988. And then Critters 3 and 4, I guess they felt there's probably not much more life in it in theatrical, so Critters 3 and 4 they made back-to-back on for a VHS. That's right, Critters 3 and 4, they look more low budget because they are more low budget. And I like Critters 3 and 4 for what they are as, direct-to-video movies. Critters 1 and 2 are easily better. There are issues, I will admit. Critters 3, I do wish you had, I don't know, stronger characters. Like they're all right at best. Like tolerable. I think tolerable is the right word, but they're not. Like Critters 1 and 2, I think have a stronger cast and stronger leads, and then Critters 4. Brad Dourif, I liked in Critters 4, and he should have been the star of the film. I didn't mind the teen kid. I know some people didn't like him, but in retrospect, Brad Dourif should have just been the star. But I like him. I like Angela Bassett. But the thing with Critters 4 is that it felt like they spent more money in Critters 3, and then Critters 4, they didn't really have anything left. That's why you only have like 2 critters in the entire fucking movie. And so, like this, I believe is what, 8 critters they said escaped? So the Critters 4, you get to, like, I don't know, 2? It was 2 or 3. I can't remember. 2 or 3. It's not much. And a low body count. I mean, I think the bounty hunters, they kill more, and then the critters. Now here's Billy Zane on the right here with his glasses hanging from his shirt. Billy Zane, of course, would be in Titanic, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, among many other films. The Phantom, that was his try to be the big movie star that didn't work out. The Phantom. On New Coke. That definitely shows what year. I mean, that's a Coca-Cola that's no longer around. That was a time, real quickly, where, from what I understand, Coca-Cola was trying to change their formula. I don't know if it was trying to make it taste more like Pepsi or something like that, but the Coca-Cola formula was changing. And the big mistake they did was that they were going to say they were replacing the original formula. And they said, well, no, just if you kept both, I think it would have been more successful. So you had New Coke, Coke 2, and people got mad. Again, because if they liked the taste before, they don't like shit changed. Again, they should have just had the option of you to pick one or the other. And I'll be curious to see what Coke 2, New Coke tastes like. Again, probably more like Pepsi, I would assume. But here's Scott Grimes getting blamed for something he didn't do. God, boom boxes. Sure, people are like, what the fuck is that? It's called a boombox. Yeah, these seem called cassette tapes you put in, you listen to music. Like, what the fuck? Interested that the cat is named Chewie, which I'm guessing it's Chewbacca from Star Wars, Chewie. They definitely did a lot of that song, Power of the Night, which I like the song, Power of the Night. I do like it. Well, of course, Scott Grimes took the blame for Charlie because Charlie would have been fired if he didn't. I always liked Scott Grimes. I always thought he did a good job as the lead kid. He was likable. He wasn't annoying. He wasn't being a prick or anything of the sort. He did a good job. Nice hearty meal. I love corn on the cob. Corn on the cob. You know, people say, like, what's your favorite vegetable? It would be corn on the cob. Yes, with some butter. But corn on the cob is delicious. I mean, regular corn is fine, but the corn on the cob, just right off the thing. Again, put a little bit of butter on it. It's delicious. I forgot what movie it was that had this playing on the TV and that line, playing the bowling league, bowling championship tonight. I forgot. There's another movie where that's on the TV. Because I remember it was on TV like years. Now, of course, the movie would also be referenced in another New Line Cinema film, the 1990 Ninja Turtles film, because Raphael would come out of the theater and go, "Who makes this stuff?" Which I guess originally it was supposed to be, I think, maybe Batman from '89, but they're like, well, Critters, owned by New Line Cinema, they own the rights to the poster, the name, be easier legal wise to do it. Which I always thought, I mean, I'll probably have the poster over here. I always thought it was weird about Critters is that, they market the big crite, the big critter, the large one, walk on 2 feet, which you only see at the end of the film, and was such a pain in the ass to film, they have never brought that back. I mean, think about it, your first film, the big poster is that people remember. There's other posters, but let's be honest, the poster you remember is this fucking poster here. I don't know what I have over here. With the big critter looking at you. That's what got people to rent that VHS tape. That's what got people to watch that film. So what brought a lot of people to the dance, so to speak, to the franchise, to all this stuff, is the thing that they have completely forgotten about in Critters 2, 3, 4, a new binge, which is a piece of shit. I'm sure that new other sequel, which really killed the franchise, especially a new binge killed the franchise. Because if you have a fucking show, whatever the hell it is, that has a crate going down and licking a woman's pussy, yeah, it's shitty and it's stupid. Like, that's what it led up to. Give me a fucking break. See, that's him taking the blame for someone. Interesting with this is that it's the girl that wants it. Usually be the guy being a creep, wanting her. But it's kind of refreshing that it's the girl that wants it. As the guy's like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. So yeah, just refreshing that again that it's the girl. Because a lot of times it's the typical the guy's being a creep and a horn dog, but no, there are ladies that are horn dogs too. So of course their bar mate that will lead to our first attack death scene. Which I guess originally when this film, well, first when this film was written, the writer, which I think Sally he passed away, the writer of this. It was supposed to be trying to think. I guess it was supposed to be more R-rated, like more of a darker horror film. Still a comedy, but I think the writer had some of the family members die. I think had the dad die. But then they're like, well, we want to do this and, make it more of a, comedy, horror, try a little bit taking the piss out of stuff. And thus, none of the family members dying, a bit more humorous. And the writer's like, I don't know, I mean, I want to be a bit darker, but, it turned out for the best. And when they first got it to the MPA, it got an R rating, so they had to cut stuff down. For example, there was, when Billy Zane is attacked, the critter actually got into the stomach. And you would see like the critter come out of the stomach. but they had to cut a lot of that out, a lot of that death scene. I think when like the dad here got bit on the neck, it was a lot longer of a biting. Here's a spaceship. Like I said, they get a lot of the power of the night. It's the power of the night. And I will say, like, the Stream Factory Blu-ray, one quick note, they actually did a nice job in the fact that for most of these Critters films, there's making of material, like documentaries. Like this documentary on the first film's like an hour and 10 minutes. Pretty damn cool. And the sequel, I think, is pretty decent length as well. 3 and 4 is shorter, but there's something on there. One thing I thought was weird was that, and again, shows yet again Stream Factory fucking up. On the back of the Blu-ray case, it says Scott Grimes is interviewed. He's not interviewed. So either they were planning on doing it and they didn't, and they forgot to take off the fucking Blu-ray case. Like literally on the back, if you have the film from Stream Factory, look on the back of the Blu-ray case. It will say interview with Scott Grimes. It's like, no, there's not. The fuck are you talking about? I mean, that's literally false advertising. Which pissed me off because I wanted to hear Scott Grimes because he starred in these two films and you rarely get to hear him talk about it. And what the fuck? Also interesting that the dad has that bowling shirt and it's done kind of the Ghostbusters. Instead of a ghost, it's a bowling pin. That's a nice little funny detail. And you know, for a low budget, they did a pretty decent job with the effects. Again, for the low budget. I guess post-production, they thought of the idea of doing subtitles for these creatures. Which was fine. Especially later on when one of them says fuck. Like, that's the type of humor that works well. Not, hey, let's have a critter go down on a girl and lick her pussy. And that's hilarious. A critter licked a woman's pussy and fucked her and then had a half crite, half human. Like, Critter's a new binge. Jesus H. Christ. That is fucking... I mean, I can't call it a movie. It's a show? What the fuck would you call that? Each episode's not long enough to really be a TV show. It's a piece of shit is what it is. My stomach fucking groaned at that too. You hear my stomach was because I'm thinking Critter's a new binge. A nice bloody remain of a bull. Whoever killed it was bullshit. Now, I guess I should mention this is directed by Stephen Herek, who would go on to direct Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I forgot what the hell he's done afterward. I should have had my phone out. But I mean, there's Wikipedia, there's IMDb. People would find this out, and it's not like I'm telling people anything they don't know or anything. I was saying anything with these commentaries they could find out on their own. IMDb, Wikipedia. I did if you have the documentary. This guy looks familiar as the cop. I swear. Was he on Star Trek later on? One of the Star Trek shows, like Deep Space Nine or something, or Voyager, or... I'm not familiar. The Star Trek I'm familiar with is the original series and the movies. Grover's Bend, Kansas. But yeah, the critters I always thought was a cool design. I think they really hit the mark on that, and they were on to something. But the fact that they can roll like a tumbleweed, so you don't have to show them walking. It makes it easier for effects because you just have a ball and you just have either remote control, motorized, or however the hell else you do it. And yeah, they're like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, really. I mean, only they shoot these fucking needles that paralyze you. If Sonic the Hedgehog was hungry for victims, there you go. You make them a little bit bigger, you make them blue, it's a fucking army of Sonic the Hedgehogs trying to kill people. That'd be a movie. And how do you save on budget? Do it via POV so you don't have to shoot the effect. But yeah, I was saying the trailer for this was in front of Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge in the movie theater, and if you watch the trailer doesn't really showcase the humor. At least this. Well, I guess maybe it depends on which trailer you see. Because the one trailer I remember seeing, there might be other trailers, but one trailer I remember seeing was more. I think they used music from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Or at least from the trailer from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Again, there might be other trailers for it, though, that sold a little bit more of the humor. I think that's where you get the red eyes. There you go. And the critters, I mean, they're well done by the Kyoto Brothers. Now, the Kyoto Brothers, they worked on other films, in particular Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is a very fun, underrated film. In fact, what was nice is that the composer of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I think when I did a review for it long ago, the guy sent me a friend request on Facebook, and that was very cool, the composer. And, he did a good job, he's a good composer, so that was very nice. But, that's a fun film, Killer Clowns. I know there's talks of a sequel. I actually don't look forward to it because so many times sequels, they fuck it up, to be blunt. Critter's a new binge. I mean, look what happened with that. You have a killer clown, eat a woman's pussy, fuck her, and get a mini clown babies. They did with fucking Critters. Because that's what I wanted in Critters. I wanted a critter to and look at porn. That's why I want Critters to look at porn. And just... How about you do just Critters and then just remake American Pie? Just with Kreitz. How about you do that, huh? Can you do that next? Remake American Pie. Who's gonna fuck Stiff Critter's mom? So it's like a mama critter and a teenage critter fuck the, and this mama critter's called Stifler's mom. Fuck it. One critter jerked off into another critter's beer. We don't see critter dick next. What does a critter dick look like? I don't fucking want to know, but would you really be surprised after that last fucking thing that they would do that? I wouldn't be surprised, and that's what's sad. And this is a pretty short film. It's only an hour and 24 minutes. Like, we're 33 minutes in. Like, we're at least over a third of the way through this. Can you imagine that? You could actually have a film going to theaters that's not 2.5 hours. Middle of nowhere, wondering what to do next. Because, I mean, that is the thing. Like, what the hell would you do next? I don't know. It's a good question. Actually, this might be the first attack. I'm trying to think if he gets attacked first, or maybe he gets attacked first, and then Billy Zane. If he yeah, because he turns around and he sees something, thinking it's an animal, and that's where you get your big first reveal of the Krite. The Krite. Because that's how the bounty hunters call them, the Krites. You know, how about this for a Critters sequel? How about them on another alien planet? And how would it... Like, okay, Star Trek, how many things have we seen, you know, aliens as characters? Guardians of the Galaxy, all this stuff. How would they deal with a Krite attack? Yeah, that would be interesting. Because Critters, they are in space. They've been to different planets. What if they went on another planet? And you have the different various alien, I don't know, creatures. Maybe their version of an airport. Have a little bit of Saw in Prison 13 where these critters are multiplying, coming out of the woodwork. And how do we escape? How do we survive? That could be cool. That'd be expensive, but that'd be cool. There you go. Again, I always, even as a kid, since I was a kid, I always loved the designs of these. And you know what? Honestly, I don't know which I like better, Gremlins or Critters. I would say design-wise, I actually like the Critters more design-wise. I mean, I love Gizmo, and the Gremlins are cool. But I'm just saying design-wise, I guess the Critters I always like the design a bit more. I did the motif of these armadillo this mix with these these things that shoot out to try to neutralize your target, and the way they're able to move. It's just a very, very cool creation. I think as a kid, I didn't care for the bounty hunter sections. And I think that's why I like Critters 2 more, is because there's bounty hunter sections, but it's within the town, so it's either them dealing with the critters or them dealing with our main characters. I think as a kid, I liked the film, but I liked Critters 2 more because this one felt like it was two different movies. It's like, here's the bounty hunters, understanding human civilization, and then the family being terrorized by the critters. And I would always go, oh, let me get back to the farmhouse. Let me get back to the... I think even now, I like this stuff. I appreciate this stuff. I think it's creative. But there's still in the back of my head going, I want to go back to the farmhouse, because that is more... This is interesting. That's more interesting. And I think, again, Critters 2, it's always centered in that town. And the bounty hunters, aside from a few scenes to establish them, this concentrate in this town. It doesn't feel like... Again, this feels like two different movies. Like, this is a movie with the bounty hunters searching, wrecking the town, trying to understand cars, trying to understand human, what we take for granted. A fish out of water story. Like, what is this? Not knowing what a shotgun is. But this is, I mean, growing up, I appreciate these scenes more. By the way, when they backed up, wouldn't they have to run over the dead body? Because wasn't the dead body under the car? So when they bat that, wouldn't they be like boom, 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 boom over that dead body? I wonder, did they actually show them boom, 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 boom? Or maybe the shotgun was the blast was to distract us from that. I don't know. Did we even see the dead body on the ground when they left in the car? I don't know. I'd have to pause. But was the dead body still there, or did he disappear? Because the dead body was under the car, but I don't know. I heard Billy Zane get his fingers bit. Boom. Now, if I understand with that, the fingers getting bit, the MPA had a problem with. You just show him with no fingers, but you can't show the teeth go into the skin. So when the critter does this, they had cut like 5 or 6 frames. So the critter goes, and then it's already off. Like you don't actually see the teeth go in and rip it off. And yeah, apparently there was a lot more to that death scene with Billy Zane. Like they really munched, and the blood was flying everywhere, and the critter got into the stomach. It was like, you know, head poking out of the stomach. But again, a lot of that was cut down. Otherwise, the rating. Yeah, you saw a little bit of Billy Zane doing this, his body. See how they like cut? It's not showing Billy Zane much. It was more panning towards. I think that started earlier, where when the kid walked up, he would see the critter in the stomach, and then pan towards the sister and such. I think that was this bit where you had the critter in the stomach. Yeah, that critter didn't like that. See, nowadays they put like a fucking fart sound in there. Which, I mean, that sells it enough. The pulsing of the cheeks, groaning, boom, on the ground. But then, again, we gotta have something funnier. Let's have a... Or... So yeah, here's Lynn Shea again. Which again, she found a lot of success in the... I always keep wanting to say the Conjuring movies, but it's the Insidious films. Where she's like the psychic, and... Then I think her character was killed off, but then they did like prequels so to keep her character around, and... She was also in that new Grudge movie with John Cho, which was a terrible movie. And be a bit of a horror star of her own. Now here we get the bounty hunters going around town. And they go to this church. They go to a bowling alley. Don't they go into a bar as well? But I think people would say it's scenes like this that make it stand out from just the creature feature stuff. This quirky, eccentric type of humor. Again, you have one bounty hunter that just keeps changing his face. Just not finding the right fit. You would think they'd have some better like tracking device for the Krites. Like, what makes them think they're here? Well, I mean, you're not noticing this big blood on his face and neck? And you have these big fuck off guns. Definitely. Guy's a hothead. How the hell do you explain that to people? Yeah, this guy came in and looked like one of your police officers. Now he looks like our priest who's a father who's right there, and he just blew the shit out of everything. But yeah, I remember as a kid, like, okay, that's fun. Can we get back to the farmhouse? I'll be honest. Like I said, I appreciate it more, and I liked it as an adult. But uh, as a kid, that's what's my feelings on it. I think one of the reasons, as well as the Easter stuff, that made Critters 2. I like this film, but I like Critters 2 more. And see, like, the family's trying to do the best that they can. It's that they get in this situation, one's been bitten, what do we need to do? Okay, the family's like, you know what? Sister was attacked. I gotta bandage myself up. I got the gun. Now let's get the hell out of here. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere. This is well before cell phones. You. So wait, I know the seats are fucked up, but does the truck still work? Like, it's just shown that the seats are messed up, but is the truck still working though? Like, it didn't really show that the truck doesn't work. I mean, fine, sit on some springs, have a spring up your ass. It doesn't matter if you have some springs up your ass. I mean, does it actually work and turn on? Does it actually fuck up the motor? I guess you're supposed to assume that the inside is eating up the outside wood, I guess. Then you need some pretty decent POV. Ooh, shit, now the other shoulder. Or maybe it's the same shoulder. There you go, Dee Wallace beat the shit out of it. You able to fight Cujo, you able to fight this. There you go. Do you imagine the kid's like, fuck this, I'm gone, and you never see him again? He just ran away. No. But then, yeah, one of those films where the kid is the hero, the kid gets to be, the savior of the family. And as a kid, you're kind of living vicariously through his eyes, that you would hope that you'd be brave enough to do this, and should be brave enough to do this for your own family. And there you go. People want to talk about progressive. Who's doing the shooting? The mom. The mom gets the shotgun shell. Well, okay, she's streaming, so I took the wrong moment to say that, but she's trying. Yeah, the dad's not having a good day. There you go. Boom. That's where we have his. There you go. She shoots one. Yeah, and the critter said, "Fuck." And on the special features, they mentioned that when that happened in the theater, people were laughing their ass off. Which is, it was a fun moment. It is a fun line. I don't want another drink, but I have enough. And the thing with Don Opper, like, other than, was it Android? I don't know of any other films he's been in other than the Critters films. It was cool to have him be interviewed on the Blu-ray. Because like I said, watched these films growing up as a kid, and I had them taped on VHS tape, like other stuff. Back in the day, it was too expensive to just buy individual VHS tapes. Occasionally would, but it was mainly rent them from the store, taping them. You have 2 VCRs. So one may have like Critters 1 and 2, and the other has Critters 3 and 4. Or if it's short enough like this, and you have a 6-hour, like they're an hour and 20 some minutes, and you have 6 hours on the tape, maybe you'd be like, okay, Critters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's the Critters tape. And how do I put it? It definitely shows their strength to be able to do this. Like, a bowling ball is pretty heavy, and to be able to throw that, I mean, that's like Superman strength. I guess I thought, Superman 3, where he had, blew the bowling ball down and destroyed the pins. Like, you're lifting that heavy thing, and you're throwing it, and that velocity that it makes the pins explode. But yeah, Critters 1, it's a fun movie. It's quirky. It's creative. Cool design of creatures. Nice sense of humor. Capable cast. Critters 2, they went bigger with the whole town being infested and the Critter Ball and all the mayhem taking place on Easter. Because there's not a lot of horror films with the Easter holiday involved. Critters 3, you tell the budget went lower because trying to think. With Critters 3, I mean, it tastes. I thought it was okay. There you go. Some fun, just blow the shit out of some stuff. And what's a cheaper way to show destruction? Show it off camera. And just tell people, yeah, we blew the shit out of this. You didn't see it, but you heard sound effects, and hey, it's a cheaper way of doing it. They don't have that big of a budget. But Critters 3, like, I don't know how to put it. Again, I thought it was okay. Leonardo DiCaprio has an early role in that. And like, the acting is fine, but the characters are not nearly as strong as the first two. And I think the cast in 4 is actually better than the cast in 3. I mean, it maybe takes place in one high-rise building, which, I mean, was a different location compared to the first 2 movies. But I remember, like, the cover is like, oh, it's Critters in the City. And me being a kid and not understanding budget, they do, oh wow, the critters, they took over a town, they don't take over a city? No. You'd have to have a way big budget for that. The building was in a city. I actually probably like Critters 4 more. And I didn't have issues with Critters 4. Brad Dourif, but I didn't. This is a nice moment between the mom and the son. The mom loses it, and immediately she feels bad about it, and like that's a Dee Wallace is a good actress. That's a natural reaction where the edginess of the situation, she snaps and immediately regrets snapping, and then the hug. That's a really nice family moment. Even this between brother and sister, where you saw them fighting earlier, and now, you know, they do care for each other, but it's not sappy, it's not corny. You know, just simple and simple as that. Yeah, I love the design of these creatures. And these fucking things. Quills, that's what I was thinking of, like these quills that they have. Again, a lot of nice little interesting ideas. Like I said, the bounty hunter stuff, the fact that they roll so they don't have to show them walk or run. These things to help neutralize their victims, or at least for a little bit. Yeah, he slips right. There you go. Boom. Knock them the fuck out. You know, it's like Chris Tucker. You gotta knock the fuck out. It is sad though, like when you got to the direct-to-video market, like this is a low-budget film, but with the camera work and the POV shots and the amount of, you know, Kyoto Brothers effects, with the amount of critters and like this one being horrified, it's scared shitless. This idea of your critter running to make himself not be burned anymore. You know, ambitious for his low budget, and then you look at like Critters 4, and again, there's like 2-3 critters at most. And granted that maybe get to know a little bit more about Brad Dourif's character and the teen character, and I think I just like the spaceship setting. But I mean, you could definitely tell that the budget was lower on the creatures. And like the Critters 4, I liked for what it is, but I can't defend the film. Same with Critters 3. I like it for what it is. I'll defend Critters and Critters 2. Critters, but it's just with Critters 3 and 4, I guess I've seen so much worse sequels as well. So much worse sequels that just dumbfound me. Like Alien 3 or fucking most of the stuff that comes out today. I mean, yeah, I'll say countless times of films I like in today's age and people adore, and they just go, you hate everything. And like, well, I like 1917, I like Uncut Gems, I like Willy's Wonderland, I like Malignant, I liked The Batman, I like the new Suicide Squad. It's never enough, so you just go, whatever. Whatever. And there's Emmet Walsh just trying to do best he can. I do like the sheriff in, I think it's Barry Corbin. The sheriff in Critters 2 I do like. And he's given a bit more to do. Because that sheriff, he's actually able to kill some critters at one point. He has one of my favorite lines in the whole franchise. You know, this town can kiss my ass. I love that. Because I think like he's supposed to be playing the same character, but he got voted out at like the last the election or something. So it's like, this town can kiss my ass with this. I know it's the same guy who was in War Games as like a general or something. And see, again, this nice little family moment. There's Scott Grimes doing the right thing, and the sister has this little moment here coming up. Not cheesy, not corny. Just a nice little moment. Yeah, that's all you need. A look of her being worried, a look of her being scared for her brother, a quiet little hey, see ya. As in, I will see you again. You don't come back here. You don't need any more words. Just, if the actors do their jobs well, it's small, it's to the point, but the reactions, it is a nice little family moment. These assholes always fucking know everything, don't they? I'm trying to think, is this where he finds like there's big krites, big critters? Which, I mean, I understand it was a pain in the ass to do that. Yeah, because he looks through here, it's like, what the fuck? See, that's where we get into like the poster of the movie. But it's weird that they never do this again. I think even, I guess they themselves felt they didn't like it. Which again, it's just weird because that's the fucking poster of the movie. But I guess no one has missed it, I guess. I'd actually like to see them try that again. Where you have some little ones and some big ones. With the effects of today, if you do it right, if you do it well, with the way animatronics have come a long way since 1986. You could it'd be interesting to see it tried again. But I'm sure people, how much you want to bet if they did that again? People go, what the fuck? They could never do that. I'm like, did you see the first one? But yeah, I just found it funny that never again, they didn't even try it again. Not in 2, not in 3, not in 4, not even a new binge. They didn't even try in that fucking thing. Like, never again they ever tried that. Again, I think that's weird, when people think of critters, they think of that poster with the thing that they never do again. Now here we get the montage of the critters going ape shit. Little E.T. and trying to talk, thinking it's another alien. Talk to me, fool. Oh no, it's Will Smith. He's biting Chris Rock's head off. Which, funny enough, with that E.T. doll, before E.T., Steven Spielberg was going to do a thing called Dark Skies or something. His original idea was a family being attacked by creatures at a farmhouse. Night Skies. I think it was called Night Skies. Yeah, it was called Night Skies, where, again, it was like more of a horror film where the creatures were attacked at a farmhouse by aliens, and then Steven Spielberg wanted to do a much nicer movie and change things. So it's just funny that that nice guy's. I mean, I guess the closest you'll ever see that is this movie. And yeah, this came out in 1986, and 1986 is without a doubt one of my. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit of the bigger critter. Which again, it would be nice to see more of that utilized in a future production. Ooh, damn. Blew the shit out of that one. Did him D. There you go. Damn, people want to talk about progressive. She blew the shit out of that one. Of course, you have Green Blood. Number one, because they're aliens, but also for ratings, because Green Blood's a lot better for the MPA than Red. But yeah, 1986, you have aliens, you have Big Trouble in Little China, you have, for me, I love The Golden Child, I love Maximum Overdrive, I love Cobra, Crocodile Dundee, Jumpin' Jack Flash. I mean, if I had to pick my favorite year, it probably would be 1986, or at least very close. Damn, blew the shit out of that. Now let's see these bounty hunters do something. What the fuck? You weren't even aiming at the ground. You aimed like at the fucking middle part of the wall, dude. You guys sucked as bounty hunters. You sucked at your job. They're shitty bounty hunters. They should, whoever paid them should get their money back. They sucked at their job. The kid did the job for them. He should get paid. I mean, I can't blame the kid. I'm a cat guy, so I would go back as well. And my neighbor's rooster agrees. Damn, just blowing the shit out of it. I think here we'll finally have them kill one of them. Behind you. I do think there's a funny shot. Trying to get out, trying to get away. Overkill, but it works. Blew the shit out of that toilet. Now that's a bomb. There you go. I think it said what, there was 8 of them. So I mean, if the firecracker in the mouth in the barn was 1, and like that was 2. Dee at least killed 2, so that's 4. The one hitting his head on the ceiling fan that fell down, that's 5. One grew bigger, that's 6. And then maybe like 2 more little ones. Damn, Emmet Walsh got knocked the fuck out. That was a nice little detail. They put a little bruise on the side of Emmet Walsh's cheek. Just to show at least there was some kind of injury there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this was written before Gremlins. It got greenlit after Gremlins was a success. But the actual ripoffs, I mean, Ghoulies is fucking terrible. I can agree with that. Ghoulies sucks ass. I hate Ghoulies. I like Ghoulies 2, I will admit. And Ghoulies 3 is fun because it's an Animal House ripoff, and then once in a while it's a Ghoulies movie. It's like a cheap Animal House ripoff. But actually, I don't know. I like the cast. You have like early roles, small but early roles with Matthew Lillard and Jason Scott Lee. They're not in it a lot, but a teeny bit. Kevin McCarthy's hamming it up as the villain, and yeah, the cat ain't having that. I mean, I would say I like the small critters more, but I actually like the big critter. I think that's cool. Now, I don't know if they eat so much, then they turn to the big motherfucker, or what the deal is, but again, you give a bit more of a polish and budget, I think, to look really cool, but they never wanted to do it again. I'm not saying to do that and get rid of the small critters, but you have both. But it's like they do something, then they never do it again. Like, you never saw the big kite ball in Critters 2. You never saw that again. Again, the big one, you never saw them again. Then these bounty hunters barely did shit, really. And they're just standing there. Like, do your fucking job. Yeah, I was talking about, like, Ghoulies is horrible. Ghoulies 2, I can have fun with. Ghoulies 3, I can have fun with in a different way. It's goofy, it's silly, it's dumb, but it's kind of fun for what it is. Ghoulies 4 is awful. Crazy that there was 4 Ghoulies films. But, I mean, they made successful venture on video. Munchies. There's nostalgia. I saw that when I was a little kid. It's not a good movie, but it's goofy. If I have fun with it, that's a film that's much more nostalgia than any than any other reason. I will admit on Munchies. Then they made I can't. People call it a sequel. I wouldn't even call it called Munchie. I'm like, this has nothing. Yeah, see, there's 2 Krites in the third one. So yeah, there were 8 of them. Because 2 was on the girl. 1 was the big one. Yeah, because Dee Wallace killed 2. The bounty hunter killed 1. Knocked 1 out with the fan. Ceiling fan. The firecracker fucked up 1. That's 5, and then those 3. 6, 7, 8. And here Don Opper gets a bit of be able to prove himself as, you know, he's not just a drunk. His first step into being a hero, which will follow in the sequels. You know, the second film, I'm a bounty hunter. The third and fourth film, again the last of the Krite eggs, then being accidentally frozen pretty much until the future, and he's by himself. Everyone he knows is gone, and pretty much wiped the critters out of existence by the end of the fourth film. So it makes you wonder why the hell these other critters films should exist. But you know, how many times do they ignore shit? They always ignore shit. That didn't happen. And then you get to have this little kid be the hero, and at least say he's. When you have a little kid as the lead, you're taking a risk because a kid is not as experienced, of course. Like Scott Grimes, he does a good job. He's a good kid actor. He's natural. He's never annoying. He's never fake or phony. He's really good. Now maybe the directing and the script helps, but he also did a good job in Nightlife and Critters 2, and he's a good actor. There's other kid actors that you watch, you go, wow, this is really, you're not supposed to be, not trying to be mean because it's a kid, but at the same time, you have to be honest. It's like, yeah, I think this kid sucks. There you go, there's the big old bomb. But he dropped it. Now, I don't know if this thing would blow up the whole fucking ship, but I mean, what if it just blew up like a corner of that ship? You know what I mean? Like if you put that firecracker in here, it wouldn't blow up the entire fucking place. It may blow up like that piece of the room, but would it actually blow up the entire fucking ship? But I mean, hey, it's a movie. I guess really that firecracker is meant to be like dynamite. So there you go. And just missed like Charlie did his bid, Molotov cocktail, so his moment to shine. I guess these guys are assholes. Like, fuck you, it'll blow up your house too. So they're fucking just dicks. That's a big fucking explosion. I don't know if that was done with models. I don't know the details on that. I don't even know there's a commentary on this. There might be I think there's a commentary. I don't know who's on it though. I'll check it after. I think there's a commentary. I just don't remember who's on it. Now, there's an alternate ending on, the Blu-ray and such where, this kid's like, I just wanted you to know, thank you. Like, they didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, you guys killed most of the fucking critters. Like, the bounty hunters didn't really do shit. If you think about what did they all do? I mean, I guess scared the critters off. I guess that's the thing. And, killed like one of them. Yeah, they killed like one critter. These two bounty hunters. Like, you should give your pay to them. But it is what it is. I guess technically they scared them off into the spaceship. But I was saying it was going to end with their house destroyed. They get to the cop car and they drive off. I think it was Bob Shea saying, "Oh, that's too depressing." And someone said, like, "Isn't there a way to have this little dial thing given right there to Scott Grimes?" I mean, now they're at the house, but the scene before, what if he presses a button and the house is fixed back up? And I guess when it first went out, there's some accident, and you could see either ending in the fucking theaters. But yeah, it would be the original ending is just they're hugging each other. Their house is gone, but they're still alive. They still have each other. They go back into Emmet Walsh's cop car. They drive away. But again, Bob Shea said no. Yeah, I changed that. So then they went back to shoot this stuff. I guess it's one of those things like they had these tables so that you have tables of a house, so then it could go like this, and if you need to take two, just relax it. I mean, this is for what I understand. It still looks pretty cool though. I think it still looks pretty neat. And see, like that does look cool, and that's better. That looks better than what a CGI would be. And that's the thing. If it was CGI, it would just look very cartoony. That right there to me looks pretty damn, still pretty damn neat. But again, that's what I mean by creativity in the 80s. Like, how do we do this? Okay, tables and all this stuff. We do like this. That's a lot of hard work, but that's some nice effort to be involved in it. And you can't. They don't do that anymore. It's just boom, CGI. There's no other choices, no other ideas. There's no other rationale. It just has to be that. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be that. There's other ways, more creative ways to do it in camera, and it will look better in the long run. We have the AIDS here, which will lead into Critters 2. Granted, it's years later, so I don't know why it took them so long. I mean, I guess I don't know how long Critters AIDS takes to hatch. Interesting music here, too. Yeah, I do like this piece of music. I think this was used in some trailers. Was it used in the trailer for Critters 2? It might be, but yeah, I do like this piece of music as well. But yeah, hour and 22 minutes. I mean, short film, straightforward. My stomach agrees. Sorry. I always do this for some reason before I ate. I don't know why. But I'm just looking through, like, the setup says, yeah, there's two commentaries. One with producer Barry Opper and star Don Opper, and a commentary with the Kyoto Brothers, Charles, Edward, and Stephen. So, yeah, there's two commentaries there. One with the Oppers and the other with the Kyotos. Bonus, they bite the make your critters. Again, that's like an hour and 10 minutes long. A tribute to screenwriter Domonic Muir. Behind the scenes footage. Alternate ending, that's the one where the house stays destroyed. Trailer, TV spots, still gallery. So, I mean, other than, them misadvertising that fucking Scott Grimes was interviewed, then you watch, you go, wait a minute, he's not interviewed? What the fuck? That's a fucking lie. It's still, I mean, yeah, great documentary. And that's the thing with Stream Factory. They used to do this where you take all these interviews, you put into a full-fledged documentary. Now it's just interview with blah, blah, blah. Interview with blah, blah, blah. Interview with blah, blah, blah. And each one has their opening and their end credits. And most of it's like footage from the movie. And then you get a little bit of what they're talking. It just... Special features have gone downhill. Again, with this, they put it all into an over hour-long documentary. That's cool. They should have done that with the Blob remake from 1988. All those separate interviews, they should have put it all together into a full documentary. I think that would have been better. Power of the Night, performed by Mann, M-A-N-N. Songs published by Show Music. Dee Wallace Dee Wallace got top billing. Well, because she was in E.T. and Cujo. And Emmet Walsh, Billy Green Bush, and then Scott Grimes. Nadine Vandervelde as the daughter. Ethan Phillips, that was the cop. Yeah, he was in one of the Star Trek shows. I think he was an alien. I forget. Terrence Mann as Johnny Steele or the bounty hunter. Lynn Shea. Let's see, look at the stunt people. No one I recognize. TV interview, two guys who watch movies? Okay. Why the hell that is. Critters Voices by Corey Burton. I think he's interviewed on the documentary. But I mean, it's cool that they finally did a Critters box set. I mean, think about it, they did Critters, Friday the 13th, and Halloween. I think they'll do a Nightmare on Elm Street sooner or later. It just seems like the natural progression. But yeah, Critters. Damn good film, still holds up. From New Line Cinema. So, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.